All right, how's it going, everybody? Excuse the voice, I am getting over some illness, but we're going to react to DeVory Darkins again. I like this man. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He tries to keep his show as non biased as possible. He shows both sides. I'm sure he'll say that today, that he shows both sides. But we're going to look into this is titled Crockett Suffers Brutal Defeat, officially concedes to James Tallarico. If you haven't heard, she took a tremendous loss in the Texas Democratic prelims. Obviously, people are not picking up what she's putting down, but let's see what he has to say.
Breaking news early this morning, Jasmin Crockett has officially accepted defeat. She lost to James Tallarico, and she's already blaming the Republican Party for stealing the election.
On the Democratic side, James Tallarico defeated.
Real quick, just quick interjection. This was the Democratic primary. So how can the Republicans steal that when it's all 100% Democrat voting for a Democrat on that one? Make it make sense.
Congresswoman Jasmin Crockett in that hotly contested primary. In his victory speech, Tallarico talked about leading a movement.
This movement is about whether the people will hold the power in this state and in this country. We launched this underdog campaign 6 months ago in my hometown of Round Rock, Texas. And since then...
Real quick, I don't know this man. I don't know his policies. Him being Democrat, he probably has some point of views that I don't agree with or I don't jive with. But I will say this, my personal opinion before they get into all this, is that Jasmin Crockett shot herself in the foot by playing the ghetto, I'm going to be in your face. She's an educated woman. She's highly educated. Why must you bring yourself down to what you think the country wants out of a black woman? If anything, she hurt herself because, again, she's a very smart woman. She's very well educated. I guarantee you she is well spoken. But she wants to get into this whole, snap the neck, snap the fingers type mood and mentality that people are just like, that's fake. I don't know this man. Maybe he was the better candidate. I don't know. I will say this though. I don't know where they get this whole Texas is turning blue. If they even looked at the presidential map from the last election, the only places that were blue were large cities like Houston, Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, and El Paso. Even along the valley, yeah, big majority of it turned red. So, I don't know. Sorry. That was my rant real quick. Let's continue.
And since then, tens of thousands of Texans have shown up to rally with us in every corner of the state.
Crockett, meantime, cited voting issues in Dallas and said that, in her words, people have been disenfranchised.
So as we somewhat predicted late last night that Jasmin Crockett's political career would come to an end, and just a little satire here. Can we give a big shout out to white supremacy? I mean, come on. I mean, I think they did a good number here on Jasmin Crockett. They pulled out all of the stops. They turned off the funding. They cut her off from Stephen Colbert.
No idea what he's talking about right there for a quick second. I want you to look at the screen. Look at this right here. Wesley Hunt. I don't know why he didn't get more votes. I don't know all these candidates for the Republican Party. Maybe John Cornyn is the right guy. But Wesley Hunt, he's a black man. Number one, don't give a crap about your skin color, but he is West Point graduated. He is military. He has been in Congress, in the House for years. Why would you not want him up at the Senate? That is a well-educated man, military, Uh, I don't know. He only got 13% of the votes. That's dumb in my point of view. But I don't know. People are going to call it racism. I don't think it is racism. Again, I don't know all their policies. I don't know all of what they stand for. Because as a Texan myself, I have failed to follow this mainly because it is not a presidential election. It is just a Senate primary. So, but that's on me. Anyways, let's continue. I hoped Wesley Hunt would have won.
There. And I guess the big question that we want to answer in today's video is, why is that, right? Well, before we get to that, as you guys can see the numbers here, 1.1 million people voted for James Talarico in a primary election. 1 million people voted for Jasmin Crockett in a primary election. Just so you guys are clear how big of a difference that is, this is from 2024, March of 2024. Colin Allred, who was the last person to run for the Senate in a Dem primary, he only received 569,000 votes. I mean, again, this election this time around, the money has essentially tripled and the turnout has tripled. So again, how did she lose?
To cast their vote, we should all be standing together, Democrats, Republicans, and we should all be raising hell. But unfortunately, this was always the plan. And so I am grateful for this court order. And as Congressman Allred has already stated, we encourage each and every one of you to remain resilient. We cannot allow this type of behavior to be rewarded, because so long as they know that they can win, even if it means cheating, then they will continue to do it. So I am asking you, I am begging you to make sure that you go ahead and figure out where it is that you are supposed to vote, stand in line, wait in line, and if it means that I gotta come out there with you to wait with you, I will do that.
So she is already blaming Republicans for why she lost, particularly Dallas County that had the issues. Now, even though late last night, according to the reporting, Dallas County had a low turnout for what they had estimated it would be because people were being turned away. But in the end, more people voted in this primary, as I showed you, than in 2024. So she didn't lose because Republicans are cheating. She lost because the establishment from the Democrat Party didn't want her to win. I mean, that's just the bottom line to it. And here's one perspective on that. Brad Todd on CNN. Take a listen.
Sort of forward-facing religious, progressive persona, talks about the Bible, talks about how faith doesn't have to only be owned by the right. And so I think people have found that to be exciting.
I'll tell you another thing he captured. He captured Washington Democrats. You know, he outspent Jasmin Crockett 5-1 in this primary campaign because Washington Democrats cut off the spigot. They knew that she was radioactive in a general election. They knew this race would be over as soon as the nominations were done if she was the nominee. Like it or not, she does excite the Democratic base, and that's her problem. She only excites the Democratic base. So that with that 5-1 spending advantage, he's still barely winning the Democratic primary. That tells us a lot about where Democratic primary voters are. They're well left of their Washington leadership right now.
Now, here's the official message that shows Jasmin Crockett conceding and, in my opinion, accepting defeat. This morning, I called James and congratulated him on becoming the Senate nominee. Texas is primed to turn blue, and we must remain united because this is bigger than any one person. This is about the future of all 30 million Texans and getting America back on track. With the primary behind us, Democrats must rally around our nominee and win. I'm committed to doing my part and will continue working to elect Democrats up and down.
Again, I don't know where they're getting this idea that Texas is somehow dramatically going to turn blue. I don't know. These people live in their own world.
The ballot. Now, this message just shows you, whether she wrote it or not, shows you she's not stupid, okay? She knows she's got to fall in line or it really would be the end for her, okay? It's already enough the establishment didn't want her, and we already know why that is. Again, I thought she made a terrible choice in trying to appear to be low IQ and to, I guess, be ghetto on purpose. Yep. I don't think anybody wants to see that. It grabs people's attention, but when you're talking about economic issues, public safety, I don't see how that's actually relevant. Now, let's go to one more clip here. This is
It's exactly what I said. That she for some reason dumbed herself down, and she thinks that's what America wanted to see out of her. That's not what we want to see. We want to see a well-educated person, human being in office. I don't give two craps about your skin color. I don't care about, if you talk ghetto or where you're from or whatever. Who cares? What can you do to better society?
Scott Jennings explaining his thoughts about why James Tallarico won. Take a listen.
Scott, you look skeptical.
Well, look, well, let's just admit it. It was an op, right? I mean, Trump had nothing to do with it. It was CBS's lawyers that had raised internal issues.
No,
about
it's
it.
not,
I mean, it was a total sort of a hoax about how they positioned it. But I tend to agree.
Details.
I know. I'm glad that's what you think. But I tend to agree.
Democrats...
I'll tell you this. It showed where the Democratic establishment is on it. They don't want Crockett. I think the Republicans would love to run against Jasmin Crockett because she's easier to paint as a radical. But it kind of showed you where the power brokers in the Democratic
You think Tallarico would be harder for Republicans?
Now, real quick point. They spoke a second ago earlier about how the Bible or religion is not only for the right. The only thing I know about this Tallarico guy is that in a speech he was all like, God is non-binary. He's not man. He's not woman. It's just if you even remotely study the Bible, it is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So the Father, a man, obviously, but I digress.
Run against. He has more crossover appeal, you think?
Probably, although I still think he's an extremist. But Crockett is easier to paint as a radical. I think that's become clear.
All right.
You know, a couple of things that I noticed about James Tallarico. One, in a sense, he appears to be Hispanic, but he's not. He's actually white. Two, he definitely appealed to a more diverse voter base than Jasmin Crockett. She only appealed to black people. And three, James Tallarico truly is dangerous because he's essentially weaponizing, in my opinion here, my own personal opinion, he's weaponizing his own personal Christian faith to appeal to voters. He believes God is non-binary. He believes the Bible justifies abortion, et cetera, et cetera. And so before
Okay, did not know about the abortion point of view. Now, again, like I said in the beginning, this man is Democrat. I am more conservative Republican. I try to see both sides, but you're not going to convince me that the Bible says abortion is okay. It literally states in the Bible that life begins at conception. I forgot where I saw it, but there's a video of when the sperm touches the egg and actually fertilizes it. There's literally quite a burst of light / energy creating life. And when they say, oh, it's a clump of cells, what do you think cells are? Cells are life. When we found single-celled organisms in outer space, we claim them to be aliens. It is known intelligent life. Cells are life. I don't know why they try to get away with this. It's a clump of cells. No, it is a human being. Life begins at conception when the sperm fertilizes the eggs. Life. Terminating that, in my own personal opinion, terminating that is a sin. But I digress. Let's continue.
Go any further, I'll show you a collage of the new Texas Senate nominee for the Democrat Party. Listen to that.
Our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front. God is both masculine and feminine and everything in between. God is non-binary. Before we go further, I want to acknowledge that our trans community needs abortion care too. Defending trans Texans is something we have to do every day. And I've learned more about my tradition by learning more about Buddhism and Hinduism and Islam and Judaism.
Already don't like him. I know nothing else about this guy except for what I'm seeing in these clips right here. Now, people are going to say that it's biased cutting, But I can tell you right now, if I watched an entire speech of him and everything I heard was, yes, great economy, affordability, housing, military spending, whatever it was, and I agreed 98% of it, and then the 2% is him talking like this, no, no, definitely not. Not my vote.
Theism. And so I see these beautiful faith traditions as circling the same truth about the universe, about the cosmos. And that truth is inherently a mystery.
All right. So those are just a few clips. I think we know who he is, where he stands. He's been trying to make the point that the right side of politics has hijacked religion and Christianity, which is so far from the truth, in my opinion. Most Christians don't even vote in elections, just so we're clear. And it's Christianity doesn't belong to a political party. Christianity is above politics, in my opinion. In most cases, I don't believe it should belong in the same sentence, unless you're talking about policies that clearly violate Christian values, like abortion, right? But again, this is the message he's going to end up running with. So be prepared, okay? Now let's go to this other clip, which I found to be rich. Okay, this is coming from Joe Scarborough. He claims that James Tallarico only won because Republicans were seeking to cancel him over Stephen Colbert. But obviously he's misleading his audience, because what Republicans were talking about is, why didn't you interview Jasmin Crockett? Take a listen.
So here they try to keep Tallarico off the show. What happens? They give him a boost. If you talk to Jasmin Crockett, she'll say the same thing. I was ahead until that controversy. So the very person they were trying to defeat, the very person whose message scared them, is the very person who they helped win this race. This just keeps happening over and over. They think they can game the system. They think that somehow they're going to be able to win. In the end, voters have the final say.
I don't know why Joe Scarborough is trying to spin this outcome. Okay, we know exactly what occurred here. The establishment spoke, they executed, they got her out of there. Okay, that's just the bottom line to it. This rhetoric about the Republicans are trying to steal the election, the Republicans were trying to cancel James Tallarico and it backfired. You know what? The honest truth is that the Democrats are a racist party. Let's just call it what it is. Why won't the first black president in history endorse any black candidates? He didn't even want to endorse Kamala Harris. He definitely didn't endorse Jasmin Crockett, and he had nothing to say about Winsome Sears. I'm just curious about that. Why do you guys think that is? Let me go ahead and cap this video off with the guy who's running the actual voting station in Dallas County, because remember, according to Jasmin Crockett, this was a stolen election. Here's his response to that. Take a listen.
There are going to be a lot of people who are having a lot of feelings about what has happened in Dallas County tonight.
Well, that's the Democrat Party, the party of feelings. Can't hurt them, can't offend them, but they can say whatever the fuck they want to say about you. Sorry, didn't mean to curse. But they can say whatever they want about you. That's, you know what? Never mind.
Already seeing people sort of theorizing and coming up with relatively, elaborate
they always got to come up with stories. If things don't turn out the way that they wanted, the way that they see the world, instantly it's conspiracy theory, or the world is against us, or I'm a victim. 100% victim mentality. Maybe you're just talking out your backside to a bunch of people who are tired of people talking out the backside. This country is fed up with having to tiptoe, walk on eggshells around all these little sensitive people. It's like, listen, I got my opinion, you got yours. You don't like mine? Cool. Don't talk to me. I don't like yours? Cool. I ain't gonna talk to you. But I'm gonna respect you as a human being. You know? God bless you. Hope you have a great life. You don't believe in God? Cool. I'm gonna pray for you anyways. You ain't gotta pray for me. I got plenty of family in my inner circle that prays for me. But you want to get your feelings hurt because I don't believe in your reality? Oh, I'm a man trapped in a woman's body. Nah, you're mentally ill. I'm a woman trapped in a man's body. No, you're mentally ill. You need to work on yourself. You need to figure out what is causing you to think in this way. And figure it out. Your delusion is not reality. Okay? Sorry. I had to go on that rant. I hurt feelings and it triggered me. They use that word too. It triggers, But I just had to say it.
Speculation in terms of who done it and why this happened and who was behind it and whose fault it is, and whether or not the election results from Dallas County and therefore from Texas should be trusted. I just wanted to put that to you as Dallas County Elections Administrator and just ask what you would say to the voters of Dallas County and other people looking in on your county from outside around the state and around the country right now who are having those sorts of sort of dark feelings about what's happened here.
Well, I would say two things. I would say that first, I think that's one of the reasons why I support countywide vote centers to allow voters to vote at any location where they have had previously in the county. I think it's convenient. I think it is helpful to the voters to vote that way. The other thing I would say
in that was to prevent somebody from going to 2 or 3 different voting polls within the county. I guarantee you they don't talk to each other that quick. That, oh, you already voted over there, so you can't vote over here. Because tell me how 2 candidates in a fairly popular, I'll say fairly populated area of Dallas, how 2 of them each got over 1 million. That limit just, well, no, you know what? Never mind. The voting isn't 100% in Dallas. So actually, it kind of makes sense. 30 million people, I believe, something like that, they said in the state of Texas. Each candidate from the Democrat side got almost 1 million or over 1 million. The Republican side, I believe I saw it was like near 900,000 for both of them. So I can see that, but still, it makes no sense, or it makes perfect sense that you can only vote in one location due to your housing, like where you're housed, because there's no poverty. Well, what's the word I'm looking for? No poverty restrictions. If you live in a impoverished neighborhood, in an impoverished neighborhood, I'm saying that word wrong. I guarantee you I'm saying that word wrong. If you live in a poor neighborhood and you go to your voting center, it's still going to count if you live in a rich neighborhood and go to the rich neighborhood's voting center. But if you live in a poor neighborhood and you go to the rich neighborhood voting center and they don't have your name there because you're not registered within that district, then yeah, turn them around, go to your district. But if you vote in your district and your district is within a county that has 9 different districts, and you can go to each freaking voting poll and vote, say, 9 times, then it makes sense why they restrict you to your district, because your district has your name. Yeah, you're a registered voter in this district. Let's register you here. Boom, you can vote. I don't know. Maybe that makes sense to me. I don't know. I'm very, very minimal knowledge when it comes to this stuff. So,
people are looking for, okay, well, who's behind what's going on? As I mentioned previously, all of the election workers that are here in the county, these are not people that have been brought in from someplace else. These are your family, your friends, your neighbors, community members that step up and volunteer to put on this process. And that, to me, is what helps ensure the integrity of our system, is that we have people that are just from every walk of life that are stepping up, serving basically as volunteers to make sure that our system of democracy works.
All right, let's get your guys' thoughts in the comments section below. Bottom line is Jasmin Crockett's career has come to an end. She will not be degrading the halls of Congress anymore with her ghetto rhetoric. I think she deserved this loss, in my opinion. At the same time, it's clear that the establishment is still in full force and control of the Democrat Party, even though the voter base is still going further left, which is why she received 1 million votes in that primary. And 3, what we didn't talk about in this video, but is also stunning, is how much Republicans had to spend in their primary. And that sets up in my opinion, one of the most expensive Senate runs we're about to experience here shortly in Texas. But give me your thoughts and everything you got in the comment section below. All right, let's go to our next video where we talk.
So usually at the end of his videos, he talks about his previous video and then he puts a link at it to the end. So we're going to stop there. But again, I apologize for my voice. I don't know, man. Jasmin Crockett, I believe, would have had a chance if she didn't dive into what I consider ghetto girl. She is a well-educated young black woman who should be a role model to many. She brought herself up. I don't know her background. From what I hear, she was raised in wealth, went to the best schools, went to a really good school, and then became part of the House of Representatives or Congress. Good on her. Congratulations. But now you want to go all ghetto, hurt your own image, hurting the image of well-educated black women, because I know plenty of educated black women. They don't talk like that. They are so mad and offended when they hear someone talk like that. That is not 100% of the black community. If anything, that's probably 10% of the black community. There are so many young black men and women that I have tremendous respect for, including this man right here. I have tremendous respect for because they are doing their best every day and trying to pull themselves up out of it. And that's what conservatives value most. Pulling yourselves up by your bootstraps, regardless of where you were in life, you could always be better. You can always do better. There's nothing in this country that I can do as a Mexican man that you can't do. There's nothing that I can't do in this country that a white man can do. We are all equal under the law. People want to say, oh, well, you started off in poverty, or, oh, you know, everything this is against you, that's against you. No, it's not. It's a matter of how you take things. Somebody says no, cool, move on to the next. Find you somebody that will say yes. There are plenty of self-made people in this country. Not everything is handed to them. They took chances, they took risks, all because they bettered themselves, they bettered their mind, and they went out there and they did the work. It is not going to be handed to you. So that's where we're going to end this video. I appreciate y'all watching if you did. I apologize for my voice. If you want to look up DeVory Darkins, he is a great man, former Army, military vet. He started off, again, another man who started from nothing, brought himself up, and now he runs over 1 million subscriber YouTube channel that I guarantee you he employs several people. So he is a business creator or business owner, job creator. Y'all stay blessed.